So all my life, I'm very interested in entrepreneurship, just because I don't think like I'm the most smartest person in the room. And the only way you can catch up or make I mean, if I were to climb the rat race, um, I would definitely lose for sure, 100%. So.
Hey guys, we hope you're loving our weekly newsletter so far, and in our continued effort to improve and create better products for you guys, we are collaborating with Books Beyond Borders, which is a second-hand online bookstore that sells donated books to fund social causes they believe in. We love it and we want to be part of that. Every week you will see a book recommendation by them on our newsletter, and these books are on a first-come, first-served basis. Usually there's only 1 or 2 copies, donated ones. So if you want to be the first to know what new interesting books they have, head over to thefinancialcoconut.com to sign up for a weekly newsletter now. Good day, guys. Today, I think we have a legend in the house, okay? I legit think it's pretty amazing because, he completed his degree in chem, built his own tech business, move on to other startups and work until he dropped and went on this hike to Everest. I'm like, what the hell, right? Like, who does all these, right? And it sounds like this must be some angmo, right? That the media will frame because it's amazing success story, but that is not the truth. Reality is, he has limited coverage, and I got to know him through a friend, post-production guy, Harry, and we were actually all childhood friends of some sort. So I remember seeing him in my friend's classroom, but I don't exactly know him. So I'm very happy to have him on the show today to share with us, his experience comparing from live different angles and why does he choose to do what he does today. So let's welcome Mr. Randall Chong.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here to tell our story. Always finding ways on how I can better share our story to the public. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So what made you transit into social enterprise? Why social enterprise?
So there's 2 big transition, right? If you're talking about why did I transit from the for-profit world, that means I spent the last 5 years working in for-profit companies into this the social impact world, or transiting from a charity model to a social enterprise model. So which one are you more interested to know?
So I think it's a 2-step thing, right? That means you probably transited to a charity first.
Yes.
And then you change it to a
correct.
social model, right?
Correct.
So I'm more interested in the why a charity first.
I talk about this, on our site and stuff. I spent the last 5 years just super interested in building companies. So all my life, I'm very interested in entrepreneurship, just because I don't think like I'm the most smartest person in the room. And the only way, you can catch up or make I mean, if I were to climb the rat race, I would definitely lose for sure, 100%. So I thought the only way I could do something different or potentially, become rich, that was my goal last time, was to dive into entrepreneurship. And so that was my goal. I spent the last 5 years in different startups, learning the ropes. And then eventually got a major burnout. Because when you're in startup, it's not like 5 days a week, 9 to 5 stuff, right? 7 days a week, you grind and you get paid little. They always give you shares and stuff.
Do you even call that pay?
No,
I don't even call that
really
pay. That's called allowance,
yeah,
okay, bro?
Allowance. So you get allowance, but they expect you to work around the clock and stuff. So in my last job, I was flying a little bit too much, had a little bit, just have too much meetings and calls and all the responsibilities and stuff. And I think right after 2 years, I got a major burnout. That was the first time I started to get a bit anxious about work. I know that I started to get anxieties because I hated, the Monday blues, right? It was very bad for me. I just hated to go to work, hated to see people, bad mood, and then that mood kind of goes back to the people I'm close with, like, I vent my anger on my parents and stuff like that. So I decided that I wanted to take a sabbatical leave, took a 1 month sabbatical leave, and my only goal back then was to go somewhere far where I won't get any messages or emails and kind of escape all the Monday morning meetings. And also right about that time, I had a personal challenge to do one thing that scares me the most that year. And that challenge somehow took me solo backpacking to Everest Base Camp. That was after I realized if you spend 2 weeks walking in the Himalayas, you get to see Mount Everest. I never thought that was possible. That's what I did. And it was during part of the trek that I saw things that you don't really usually see, especially from someone living in Singapore, right? You see things like why are kids not in school? Why don't they have access to clean water? Why are the girls so young? Why are they in the farms and stuff like that? So a lot of different questions. And then after that, I was later invited to visit like a rural school somewhere in northeast Nepal, and I still remember when I got there was this grandmother who would walk like 2 hours uphill just because she thought she heard there was a mysterious Singaporean guy would come in to visit her village, and just all these stories made me think like my purpose. There I was in Singapore, my only goal was try to maximize shareholder value, right? Every day we were thinking about, okay, how can we make the most money? Not necessarily thinking about impact or value we are creating to our customers, right? We're always thinking and discussing in a boardroom like, okay, how can we squeeze the most money out of our customers, whether or not they are getting the value? And the end goal is so that our investors will be happy and then get to pump in more money for the company. So I've been in a lot of different startups. Unfortunately, most of them are the same, right? At one point, it's all about the investors. If you take investors' money, it's always been the case. And there's very little company that would, channel the money into real good, right? For the people at the bottom of the pyramid and stuff like that. So I wanted to start an organization that would do just that. And so I decided to leave my job. And honestly, at that point of time, I had no plans to start a charity. I just wanted to start an organization that would solve that problem, right? To channel the money in the right places.
What's that problem that you're talking about?
Like I say, the big problem I feel with most companies out there is that the main goal is to make the shareholders richer, right? We get a lot of money. How can we make the most money and then make the rich people get richer?
Okay, so at what point did that thing become a concern? Because
Yeah.
my view is a lot of startup people they join startups because they think they want to get rich, right?
Correct.
So they have no big problems, no big qualms with capitalism in
Right,
that sense,
sure,
right?
of course.
And what happens is after they join the circle of startups, then
Yeah.
they go through all the shiny things, right?
Yeah,
Go for
correct.
events, meet mentors, talk to investors, blah blah blah, those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not exactly productive,
Yeah.
but very shiny, right? So
Correct.
they get led around all
Yeah.
these things, and it's not every day that I hear people that tell me that okay, I had enough of that. So at what point do you think that this is quite bullshit?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me personally was like kind of seeing the effect of poverty in all these developing countries, and thinking like there I was in where I was working. We were making so much money, but going in the wrong places. And then in these places, if we were to channel the money in the right places, right, we can actually make real impact, create real value. And that was kind of the point I started to think like, maybe I've been using my business acumen in the wrong places, right? I've been, all I ever knew back then was, one day I want to become rich, right? But there's still like a void inside of me that, okay, what's next after I become rich, right? What's the purpose of money, right? So yeah, for me, I think that point really comes when, when I was tracking and seeing things that I saw.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait, you said about like the purpose of money,
Yes.
right? So, we run a financial literacy show. So
Right.
purpose of money is always a question, right? So
Yes.
I'm curious, what is your thought of, what is the purpose of money in
Yeah.
your view?
So in my personal view, I think money is a very powerful tool, but it's something that can create a lot of change and impact in the world. And the purpose, at least for me, I think money is to be able to use it and create change, to solve real global problems in the world.
Okay. Where does money sit in your life? Like, what is
Right.
the purpose of money in your life?
Right. Okay, for me, I think money gives me a sort of freedom to spend on things that I think is important in my life, and they're not just trying to change the world and stuff, right? The most important thing, of course, is to make sure that we will never have to be stressed out over financial issues at home. when somebody falls ill in my family and stuff, I have the capability to make sure that I protect, the people that's closest to me, and then go on to do things that I love. And I think, at least for a lot of my friends, when you ask them why they are working and stuff, a lot of them tell you like, I need the money, right? And then they'll buy things that they don't need, but they are not willing to leave their job because they have to buy all these things and sustain their lifestyle and stuff like that. And then because of that issue, they hold on to jobs that they don't enjoy doing just because of the money. So when you actually have money, then you kind of remove that barrier and really take that out of the equation, and then like, what's after money?
Okay,
right?
so what's after money?
Right.
Essentially, that is where you're standing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people has been like, okay, first I got to chase the money, right? Got to chase the money and stuff. And then once I get the money, then okay, let's talk about like my purpose, like what do I want to chase? And I'm kind of like, okay, I look beyond money. I don't have all the money in the world right now, but I look from the final stage, and I kind of work backwards. I imagine myself having all the money in the world, and then what would I want to do? And ask myself that question. And for me, I want to run like a foundation, right, that would be able to invest in other non-profits around the world, doing big changes. And when I tell people that, they always say, okay, but you got to be like Bill Gates first, right? You got to make $1 billion, and then you can leave your job and then start a foundation. But I think if I were to bet on that, chances of becoming a billionaire is very, very low. I'd rather just immediately start a foundation, and you actually don't need a lot of money to start one. You can figure out how to generate consistent money, through a business model and stuff. So I started from my end goal, and I kind of worked backward. And so far, it's been very fulfilling. Maybe the money is not as much as when you are working in the for-profit world, but the purpose is pretty strong here. Yeah.
So it's a common. Let me put it this way. It's a very common observation that I have when I talk to social entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
It's always this perceived choice between making money, making impact.
Sure.
Right? It always sounds like there is this dilemma.
Yes.
Right? So do you think this is a false dilemma? Can we ever reach a point where social entrepreneurs actually make the same? Like, it doesn't need to feel like a financial discount on your part, on your life, while churning the impact on society.
Now that's a really, really good question, because I struggled with that for the first 2 years when I started. I don't think I have the perfect answer for this, but here's my view on this. I don't think just because you work in a social enterprise, a charity, or non-profit, you should pay peanuts. In fact, I think the world needs more talent in the social entrepreneurship space, and talents like these have to pay their bills. So we should not discount the fact that running an organizations and going to things like hiring overheads and stuff, including salaries, should ever be discounted. I think just like any for-profit company, maybe the CEO of a big charity doing great work should have the same kind of salary as a CEO running a Fortune 500 company. I think the difference is in the shares in, when you're talking about for-profit organizations. Unfortunately, in charities and social entrepreneurships, like social enterprises, there are no such thing as like how much shares does the founder has and stuff, and if anything, can the company exit or go IPO and stuff. There's no such thing. So you will never be able to cash out billions and millions of dollars and raise money in the stock exchange and stuff. But in terms of just like regular paycheck, paying for your skills, for your time, a social entrepreneur should be paid as well as like I say, like a CEO from a 500 Fortune company. It's just you would never be able to sell your charity or your social company and flip $1 billion from that. Yeah, so that's probably a difference.
Okay, so I'm gonna pose you a difficult question.
Sure.
Okay,
please.
so I have spent some time in the social enterprise space. I've met a lot of social entrepreneurs, and
Yes.
generally speaking, there are two bunch of them. Okay,
Right.
so one, of course, everybody likes to split people into two groups.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, generally there are two bunch, right? So one bunch are the really very entrepreneurial people. So they're business centric,
Yes.
right? And then they are looking for a touch of, social responsibility.
Yes.
A touch of feeling good.
Yes.
And then there's this other bunch of people that are like all about good.
Right.
And they suck at doing business. Okay,
Right.
for like a better way to put it, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I'm sure you've met enough of them,
Yeah.
right? And my concern is that a lot of these entrepreneurs, they're not very entrepreneurial. Like they don't understand that we are weaving it into a capitalistic system.
Yes.
That means inevitably there is a price mechanism, there is a market mechanism.
Yes.
And some of these models that the social enterprise are doing are bound to fail because they just cannot make, they don't make ends meet lah.
Yep, exactly.
Right? So from that view, do you think what you're trying to do fits the potential of making it profitable?
Right. Okay. That's again a very, very good question. So I learned it the hard way. So when I first started Books Beyond Borders, the organization that I run, it was all like, okay, I just want to raise as much money as I can. No business models.
Feel good, right?
Feel good.
Wow, do good things.
Exactly.
I know.
Just do good. Like screw the business model. I can survive on eating, plain bread and and biscuits and stuff.
It sounds like every.
Yeah. Right. So.
很可怜, oh my god. Okay, anyway, you say.
So the first year it went great, right? Feel good feeling. Everyone's like, oh, you're so noble and stuff. Second year, you start to get a bit tiring, and when you start asking for donations, you start to lose some friends, some families. And then moving on to third year now, this year, everyone's like, okay, man, you got to start making your own money. We're not going to give you money every single year. And then you get tired. And if there's one thing I learned is that in order to do good, you got to do well, right? So you got to make good money. So back to your question, I think for those entrepreneurs that just all about doing good but don't have the business acumen to run an organization, it's going to be very difficult to scale, right? And if you look at 9 out of 10 non-profit/charities in Singapore, they are always small, serving small communities. And if you put them on the same stage as a for-profit organization, they cannot compete. They don't have the ability to hire designers, developers, and stuff like that. They just kind of like play the guild game, like, oh, we're serving this, we need donations and stuff. The problem with that is it doesn't scale. And I think the real organization, the real social enterprise that have huge potential to become successful should operate like just another for-profit organization. So what we learned in the first 1.5 years was this, right? That we cannot just focus on raising money and then put all the money and then fund projects, but like how do we pay our bills? How do we hire people and stuff? So starting this year, that was the main reason why we shifted into a social enterprise model. We decided not to ask for donations anymore. It was a huge step towards moving away from the charity model and focus on running this second-hand online bookstore. The difference right now is we give 100% of our net profits, and that means we first make sure that we can cover business expenses, get ourselves a salary, have and invest whatever that is necessary to grow the business and compete in a for-profit world, and then use our net profit to fund our projects. So this will allow us to have the money to invest in things that will allow us to stay competitive in the market. Yeah. And so I think we're on the right track so far. Business has been great, mainly because in CB, everyone's decluttering their home. Everyone's starting to read more books. Libraries are not really open. So business has been great.
That's good.
Right.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, some of these models, like the ones that are selling, I'm just randomly going to plug some things that I remember, right?
Sure.
The ones that are selling the bamboo straws.
Yeah.
I think those are going to work.
Right.
Or the ones that are selling like, I think the banana leaf packaging or something like that. Those things are going to work.
Right.
Because there are the underlying costs, for sustainability.
Sure.
That's one of the social good, right? That's going to work, right?
Right.
And they can run the traditional models,
right.
Charge a premium for the social
sure.
good. But it's proven and it's probably working better.
Right.
Right. And then there are many other guys in the game that are, just more vuvula, right?
Right.
And
exactly.
It's just not gonna work as well.
Right.
But that's that, right?
Sure.
I think what our audience will be very interested to understand is that from what I gather, what you just said is that you don't actually take a full salary yet,
Yeah.
right? In your startup, right, at this point in time. And given that, how do you then, live your life in that sense, right? Do you practice the whole like frugality thing?
Sure.
Or how does that work for you?
Right.
Yeah?
Okay, for me, that I'm extremely frugal. I'm extremely frugal. It's not because I'm running a social enterprise. I would think that even if I'm running a for-profit startup, a tech startup, anywhere in the world, I would behave the same. I wouldn't take a full salary until the company is more stabilized, right? So when I was working in the few different startups I was before, I was taking kind of like the same benchmark salary as a founder.
Could you just give us some idea? Like, can we get a ballpark number?
Sure. Right now I'm taking about 800. Yeah.
Really?
800 per month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the first 2 years, I have never taken a cent off the organization.
Okay.
So this was the first year after starting our online bookstore. I started taking $800, and so far, given the lifestyle that I'm leading right now, I can live with that. So what is it that you want to know? You want to know how I spend it, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Share with us. It'll be interesting.
So
$800 in Singapore, yo.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
right. You can actually do a lot. I'll show you how much you can do. So $200 goes to my insurance plans, and have cover my medical stuff. So in case anything goes wrong, $200 goes to my mom. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm left with,
800. You still can contribute 200
yeah.
to family. Okay.
That's
respectable.
non-negotiable.
Okay.
Because I don't want it to look like I'm trying to go out and save the world, and I'm not bringing any money home. So
that's a personal
that's
commitment, right?
Exactly.
To the family.
Right.
Okay, that's cool.
So I'm left with 400. And there are things that I think is necessary to cut down. I cut down, for example, transport. Early on when I started Books Beyond Borders, I bought a bicycle, so I basically ride everywhere I go. And there are a few things that I spend on, for example, on nutrition. I kind of eat the same thing almost every single day.
How does that look like? Honestly,
Yeah.
not many people tell me nutrition. I don't hear the word nutrition. I only hear food. Okay,
Right.
like I spend $200 on food, right? So
Yeah.
nutrition, tell me how does that work?
So I'm big. I'm quite big on making sure my nutrition is good enough for me to, so that I don't fall sick. So I pretty much eat the same thing every morning, every afternoon, every night. I'm very great. I'm very, very lucky that my mom cooks at night every day. So I don't have to pay for buyouts. So every morning I eat the same thing. It's been years. I blend my breakfast.
Wait, you blend
I blend my breakfast.
Okay. Tell us.
I have organic oatmeal, whey protein. I have almond milk. So that's my drink every morning. And
So
then
that's the only thing?
No, and then I eat just eggs and homegrown lettuce.
You grow lettuce at home?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you know where to get food, huh? Okay.
And a little bit of tomatoes and organic wrap, like burrito wraps.
Oh, I heard rat. I was like,
No.
organic rat. Who eats rat?
No.
Okay, wrap.
Wraps.
Okay.
Yeah, made from kale and
That's
spinach.
actually a lot of very high quality.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm quite big on making sure I get whole food in. So I
Okay.
try to avoid the processed food and stuff. Then in the afternoon, it's just like either chicken or salmon, broccolis, egg, and just brown rice.
How much do you spend on nutrition?
Probably about like 200 plus a month.
You can spend 200 plus and eat all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Sing Shong, is it?
Yeah, just Sheng Siong, But for my organic veg, I usually go to like NTUC Finest or like Little Farms, and in the afternoon, like around 3 p.m., 4 p.m., I have a smoothie blend. So I drink like kale and berries and kiwi and just like a veg / fruity.
Okay,
blend.
I mean that's really inspiring. Like $200 you can eat like that. You sound
Yeah.
like you're in Cali, like the woo, very very the whole health thing, right? And
I think the people spend money on food is because they go out and then they buy that little cheesecake and that little donut and stuff. But if you really buy in bulk, right, all these nutrition food and stuff, and then you like literally don't go out and buy all the cheesecakes and all the little cute muffins that cost $10-20, then honestly, man, it can last. Yeah, you just got to make sure that you are very disciplined in your food intake, and that's for me. It's it's very very disciplined on that.
Crazy, crazy. Okay, that's real cool, and I hope you guys are inspired. $200, huh? Can call nutrition, okay? Just saying, right? So, thanks for sharing. We will take a break, and after the break, we'll come back to maybe just have you share with us your journey
Sure.
from like maybe cam all the way to like now. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll come back with you guys shortly after. See ya. Hey guys, so yes, I get it. Everyone wants to learn to invest and somehow believe they can be a Warren Buffett. Truth is that will probably never happen, but if we just want to become slightly better investor, making consistent 5 to 10% returns, then Dividend Machine may be something to consider. Dividend Machine is a program by the fifth person, our selected course partner, which focuses on helping you pick dividend-paying stocks to grow a consistent investment income, or some call passive income. On top of that, with us around, you can come back and discuss and ideate with our community. So yes, for more details, check out thefinancialcoconut.com/dividend. Everything is in the link below. So for all you guys who didn't know, like we are actually kind of like childhood friends, but we don't know each other back then, lah. So from what I know, like this crazy guy, like he actually finished university while in camp.
Yeah.
Right. Like while you were in NS, I was rotting around, lah. Right. Like every one of you, right? I know. Right. And then this guy finished his uni in camp. Could you just kind of share with us, like, how does that work? Like, are you like in a rush
Yeah.
of some sort?
So the funny story was, so I actually always wanted to be like an officer, right? While I was in BMT, I was one of the few guys that.
Volunteer.
Right,
Those
the
volunteers
super
guys.
wayang guy
yeah.
that wanna. So I always want to be an officer and stuff. And right after BMT, when I got my posting, I don't know, is it luck or misfortune? They posted me to Air Force to be a driver. And I was so depressed, right? I felt like I wasn't good enough, and I was just so ashamed to tell my friends that were not as fit as me. They were like at least a sergeant, and I became a driver in the Air Force. And the good news, I mean, the flip side was that I realized that I get to book out every single day. So, very different from a lot of people. And I thought, okay, now I got to make good use of that. Right, I might spend 9 to 5 in doing something I hate, but I still got the after hours to catch up. So I thought might as well take this time to take my bachelor's, and then when I complete it, I get to start doing the things that I want to do. Whereas most people after they ORD, they then wait for their uni to start and then spend the next 3 to 4 years in school and stuff. So I'm a little bit quicker.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it sounds like you were in a rush. Do you feel like you were in a rush, or were you just trying to like make your time useful or something?
So I'm a very competitive person in nature. I mean, if you're my friend, you probably know that I was always thinking like, okay, how can I be quicker, right? How can I complete faster? And that was again why I decided to become an entrepreneur, because I knew that if I would try to compete with all the JC, students and all the people,
I see the eye rolling,
Right.
JC student.
and all the NUS, SMU and stuff, like I would not be able to compete with them, right? So, and that's the main reason why I chose entrepreneurship, and that was also the main reason why I wanted to be, a little bit quicker than everyone else. So it was not so much about getting the degree. I just wanted to make sure that I get it out of the way, and then continue to pursue entrepreneurship.
So from there, you went on to do your own tech company, right?
Correct.
And that was also your way of like being faster, more competitive.
Correct.
Right,
Correct.
in that sense, right? So
Yeah.
how was that experience?
So while I was in the army and taking my bachelor's, I actually started my first company selling software services. And what we did was we would go to different companies and we would help them build softwares and mobile applications and websites, and we charge them a fee. I think I would call myself a good salesman. Like we managed, I managed to make quite a bit of money, convincing people to take up the services with us, because we have a full development team in Singapore. But actually, all our developers are, in developing countries like India and in Vietnam and stuff like that. So I was trying to do that for 2 years, And while the money was great, I also learned a few things about myself. So didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would, becoming an entrepreneur, because every single day I had to deal with like angry customers. Same thing, um, you know, I would,
I know.
you know what I mean? Because my approach was very different, right? It was always like, how can I try to squeeze the most money out of you, selling things that you actually don't need, just so that I can make the most profit. So yeah, the money was great, but again, I hated going to work. I hated meeting my customers. It wasn't something I enjoy. I would convince people to take up our services even though they don't really need it. And I guess that was also kind of like the first spark, noticing like I may not be that interested in like money wasn't the biggest motivator for me, right? I made quite a bit of money back then, but just wasn't happy. So I decided to join different startups to see how other founders are building their organization, because that was my very first startup company. And while there was a lot of great lessons, I just felt that I needed to know how other organizations are building theirs. Yeah, and then that's why after that I decided to join, I think about 2 to 3 more startups.
Okay, and during that 2 to 3 startups,
Yeah.
like so you went from like working for yourself, trying to like win this capital game,
Sure.
right? Essentially,
Right.
right? You just chong lah, right? Essentially, right? And then you do what you need to do, and you build a company that was decently successful. You were making money, you were like riding, but you're uncomfortable. So then you decide to work with others, you know, to just kind of see how life is.
Correct.
Right. How did that feel? Right. Because I think a lot of people are trying to decide whether, I want to do my own business.
Yeah.
Or do I want to work for someone, right?
Right,
And
right.
it's not always that you have people that have actually done their own business,
Right.
also work for other people.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So for me, I knew very, very early that I would want to work for myself. So that shift after I shut down my first company to work for someone else was that I had a rule that I would leave within 2 years. Actually, I told all the companies that I'm joining, I'll leave like 2 years is the maximum for me. I'm here to learn, and then I'm going to start my company. I made it super clear to all the startups that I joined. So my approach when I went into all these companies were like, yeah, I don't really care so much about the salary. I just want to learn. And then if I'm not learning, I'm going to leave, right? I made it very, very clear. So yeah, I always knew that I wanted to do something on my own. It's just a matter of time and what kind, business I want to launch and stuff. So I don't know if I can fully answer that question on behalf of so many people who want to move from one area to another, one industry to another industry, like from entrepreneurship to just working for someone else. Because I know for sure for me, it's always going to be some sort of entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Because like from what I know with entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
right, generally people fall in two camps.
Yep.
Right. So okay, well, two camps again. Right? Yeah, I always put camp lah. But anyway, so there'll be a bunch of them that are very big on entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like you will promote, like you must do it. You must be an entrepreneur, test it out. Live your life, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, all those kind of stuff. Right.
Right.
And then there's the other camp that will be like, don't do entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Go and do your job. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And so where do you stand on this? Like, what is your take?
Well, I'm kind of like in the middle, right? So I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone. I know there are friends that I'm not made for it, right? And I think
Who is made for it? Like what are some characteristics that you think?
Yeah.
If you have this, try to be entrepreneur.
Yeah. So you definitely gotta be, you gotta have grit and like discipline. I think what a lot of people don't understand
Like
about
eating the same food every day, lah.
Yeah,
Right, very disciplined. Like every day,
Yeah.
same thing, right? Okay.
Yeah, it boils down to almost everything. Not just discipline to work, but discipline to, spend time taking care of yourself. Just discipline in general in person, right? And of course, it boils down to little things like your financial. So I think, at least how I see it is, someone just, to me, the biggest factor of anyone who want to consider going to entrepreneurship is just like, do you have the grit, right? It's not something that you can come in and then like, oh, okay, just want to test my test the water and then like leave in a few months and stuff, because things don't work, and things rarely work in 1 or 2 years. I know people that have been in the game for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years and just barely making it, right? So whether or not you want to make those kind of sacrifice, or you want to kind of, and there's nothing wrong with just working for someone else, right? If you enjoy the job, if you're happy, and if you feel purposeful going to work every single day, then, there's just why change things? It's only if you're unhappy with your current situation, then maybe, try to go another route. Yeah.
Fair. And actually, I came from this camp for quite a while.
Yeah.
In the sense that I'm like, maybe you should just work your job, right?
Yeah.
Because being an entrepreneur,
Right.
You know the kind of challenges that will come.
Yeah.
And that the uncertainty and
Yeah.
all these little things that you thought you knew.
Right.
But once you're there, it's like, all wrong, huh?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of discovery in this process. So
Yes.
I get the whole idea about grit, discipline,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. But I don't, at this point in time, I'm a bit different.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I'm coming from the, like you said, don't test the water.
Yeah.
But I think you should test the water.
Right.
Right. So you come in, test the water, a few months. What you need to know is you need to be cognizant about whether you fit the environment.
Right.
And not join the environment thinking that you don't fit.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
come in, test it out. And yes, as a shout out, if you want to be an entrepreneur, I actually support you. I
Right.
think you should come in, test it out, see if it works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, you can take a leave.
Sure.
Right. The 5
Right.
to 6 year guy, no shit happening, then do you just pivot somewhere that
Right.
works, right? So
Sure.
don't be blinded by it, and also
Yeah.
don't be blinded by the shiny things.
Right.
I think
Exactly.
there are a lot of shiny things in the startup scene
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Right. And
All the PR and all.
oh
the
my
stuff.
god, this hackathon,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing is like, hello dude, wake up lah. Just
Yeah.
go and spend time and do your business, get to know your customer, build your product, right?
Exactly.
Stop going for all this kind of rubbish, right?
Right.
So I'm not saying that they're bad.
Yep.
I think it's good you go and expose yourself,
Sure.
see new things,
Right.
get to know what's going on, but don't spend day in, day out, one hackathon after another,
Yeah.
one event after another. Go for 1 or 2,
Right.
just get yourself exposed and then do what you need to do.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So is that the same for like the whole social enterprise scene?
Yeah, I think.
Like a lot of shiny things,
Of course,
Yeah.
right. I think there's become like a blur of lines between social enterprise, non-profits, and for-profit. Like I said from the start, I think they're all the same. Whether or not you start a social enterprise, a charity, a non-profit, or for-profit, it's not for everyone. But I do think that if you have the skills, the knowledge, and the passion to run an organization, you can run in both sectors because they pretty much operate the same way. Yeah. So I would encourage everyone to give a try on both, right? Maybe if for-profit entrepreneurship doesn't work for you, then instead of going back to work for someone else, hey, why don't you try the social enterprise way?
Promoting, right? Yeah, you kind of pulling all the talent.
Yeah.
Be a social entrepreneur. Join
We
the
just
gang,
need more
right?
talents in this space.
Yeah, yeah.
If we've got all the talent, I'm very optimistic about the future. Yeah, I'm very.
Do you feel that talent is one of the things that you're lacking?
Of course. I mean, the whole world is lacking talent, right?
Yeah. No, like specifically, I mean, like for the social enterprise.
For sure, 100%.
Space,
It's just, I think the number one thing is because people think that if I were to join the social space, like I would always remain poor, right? I think that's the idea around it. But that's just simply not true, right? If you look at some of the biggest, best, most successful charities and non-profit organizations around the world, their leaders are being paid very, very fairly. And that's because, the company want to retain all these talents. But if you were to pay people peanuts, you will always get peanuts, right?
Yes. Recently I thought about this thing, right? Because if you think about it, poor is a relative concept, right? Rich is also a relative concept, depending on how you define what is rich, what is poor. But the thing about the startup space is the startup space is a bit like a toto.
Right.
Right? If you kena, then this is like, whoa, it's like a home run,
Yeah.
This thing?
Right.
And the social enterprise space, or I would even consider honestly, I consider a lot of the social enterprise entrepreneurs are very much just working.
Right.
There isn't that upside excitement, for that.
Right.
In that sense, right?
Right.
Of because there's no equity involved, there is no huge paychecks. The
Yeah.
reality is what you just said. It was fair.
Right.
We're not acceptable.
Right.
It's not like good.
Right.
It's like not like exciting, right?
Right.
So, do you feel that is one of the fundamental issue because we live in a capital world, right?
Sure.
不可以骗自己, huh?
Right.
So, because there's no like upside excitement, that you guys are always struggling to recruit people, lah.
Yeah.
Right.
Just so I get your question right, do you mean like in the social space, people don't get excited about money? Or like what was the question?
Like,
again?
Everybody have their own excitement, right?
Yeah.
That what things drive them, right?
Right.
So for you at this point, that's very purposeful, right?
Right.
A lot more on the slightly more spiritual, more soft side of things,
Right,
right?
right.
Not as like what concrete,
Right,
in my
right.
sense. It's not in a bad way,
Right.
but it's like money is very concrete, lah. 赚钱就是赚钱, right? So if the social enterprise sector cannot provide that upside excitement of wealth,
Yep.
then you will forever struggle with like getting a big bunch of people,
Right.
Which is why like all the big banks have all the big talent, right?
Sure.
But all these guys, they're not doing any productive thing in,
Right.
in the market, right?
Right.
In society,
Correct.
right? They're just speculating and making money in that
Right.
sense, right? So
Well, I think there are a lot of talents out there that have kind of moved past the stage where like money drives them. And these are exactly a talent I think the social space needs, right? And so, I think it's a phase in life, right? There will be a stage where you make a lot of, and I know a lot of investment bankers and people who have made a lot of money are moving into social space right now. And that's actually a good thing. So sure, if we want to target attracting and hiring all these people that are still in the phase of like, okay, money is the most important, I got to build my personal wealth at this stage, then we're not going to get them at this stage. And we're going to go after the ones that are probably more purpose driven, that maybe purpose first and then the second building financial wealth, or those that already kind of accumulated a bit of wealth, comfortable, not a lot, but comfortable enough to say, hey, now maybe it's time for me to use my skills to help build something that can make an impact in the world. So those kinds of people unfortunately there's not many out there, and that's why there's a whole shortage of all these talents in the social space right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you happen to fall into the camp that already made some money?
No. I wish. I wish.
Waiting 有一点钱, I already made some money. I can like dedicate my life to
No.
So it doesn't concern you.
It does. I mean, a lot of people look at me and like, wow, you're so noble, you don't care about money and stuff. I do care about money a lot, but I care about money because, and I still want to make money. Not because I want to buy myself a big house, drive fast cars and stuff, but because I want to make sure that I can continue doing what I love and I can be able to bring my family on vacations without having to worry about stuff. Not just, go to Thailand and shop for a few days. I want to bring my family to have a good lifestyle, right? Enjoy themselves in expensive places. And so that's something I still want to do. And I think I can do that while running a social enterprise. And whether or not the money comes from the organization, reaching a stage where I get to pay myself a fair paycheck for my skills and my effort and stuff, or doing side projects. I'm currently doing a few consulting side projects, getting a bit of money. I'm a freelance. I'm also doing freelance right now. And then hopefully, if I get better at speaking, after doing a few podcasts like that, I get some speaking engagements, all these, I get to have different ways where I can earn money. So, it doesn't mean that I'm in the social enterprise space. I will only have to depend my money, from the organization itself. There's a lot of places where I can use my skills, my experience from learning in these social spaces, and then build my wealth from there. So
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So for everyone that wants to, explore this idea of social enterprise, definitely come on and be open about it, right? Just go around and just ask around. I think a lot of the social entrepreneurs these days are a lot more like prominent. You could see
Yeah.
them around,
Yeah.
they're on the bus sticker, right? You see them, it's like so they're everywhere, right? And it is a good thing. I fundamentally think we need more talent in the space.
Yeah.
But I also come from the camp that we need to revisit the incentive structures.
Sure.
We need to see how to incentivize talent to come into this space, right? And which is why I ask a lot of these questions,
Sure.
right? So thanks for sharing with us. Yeah. So to wrap up, I just want to give you some time to just kind of share with us where can we contact you, where can we support you, and what are some other coming projects from your organization.
So the best way to just reach out to us is go directly to our website. It's at www.booksbeyondborders.org. We collect and sell quality donated books. So if you have like books that you want to give, let us know. We can schedule a pickup from you. Or if you're looking for a new read, feel free to check us out. We've got some great quality selection of books on our site. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. If you search Books Beyond Borders, you get to see our page popping up. Pretty sure it's the first one. And we're doing some great projects in the next few months. So COVID has changed a lot of things, not just for us in Singapore, but also for the communities that we are supporting in Nepal. We are still raising money using all our net profits to fund projects like something we funded in the last 2 months. So one project we funded was so now that the schools are shut, right, in Nepal, and the students don't have the privilege of using things like Zoom and internet and stuff. So we co-funded a radio program where the teachers record their lessons over radio and then partner with radio stations, blasting them out to reach all these students living in isolated communities. That's one project we co-funded. We are looking at it and tracking the progress. We just funded last month about 2,000 workbooks. It's all created by local teachers. And then it's actually right now it's on the way to deliver to some of the villages. So if you check out our Instagram or Facebook page, you get to see some pictures, some videos of how we put all our profits to work.
That is so cute. That is so cool. We after this we're gonna talk about it. Okay,
sure.
Let's see if our community can work with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Hey, I hope you learned something useful today and truly appreciate that you took time off to better your life with the Financial Coconut. Knowledge is that much more powerful and interesting when shared, debated, and discussed. I hope you would share what you've gained with people you love, and I want to hear from you. Give me some questions and help me along with building our community of financially savvy coconuts. I hope together we can fulfill our curious minds and desire for clarity. Join our community Telegram group, reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, and sign up our weekly newsletter. Everything is in the description below. If you enjoy the podcast and if you want to keep us growing and stay independent, do buy us Kofi at Kofi.com. With that, have a great day ahead, stay tuned next week, and always remember, personal finance can be chill, clear, and sustainable for all. Okay, wow. Hope you guys enjoyed your time with Randall. It was real nice. Never knew my secondary school friend would turn out to be so cool. And yeah, he's been through a lot, and I'm sure he shared a lot with all of us. And I hope you pick up some things here and there. It's the idea of like long interview, right? It's all these kind of content. Sometimes it's a bit hard to chop also. So just also let us know if you're enjoying these things. If you're enjoying, definitely reach out to us on Telegram group and just let us know. Of course, also check out booksbeyondborders.org to get some cool books here and there. I think by the time you're listening to this, we have already cemented our partnership. So yeah, it's going to be nice. They have a lot of good books, a lot of good non-fiction books. So every week they're going to publish one recommendation on our newsletter. So if you're not on newsletter yet and you want to, kind of be in the ecosystem of seeing what Books Beyond Borders are recommending you to read this week, definitely head over. And of course, do know that they only have 1 or 2 books each, right? Every time they publish something, they only have 1 book, 2 books, because it is very much based on donation. So every time you see the book and you want it, go get it. $5, $10, $15. It's real cheap secondhand book, and you support a course that they are pushing for. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. I hope you can continue to support them and support things that are interesting and just kind of makes the world a better place. Okay, and Next week. Okay, so recently a lot of people have been asking about gold, 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 right? Because all over online people are talking about gold. And am I an investor in gold? I do invest a little bit of my money in gold, something like a 10% to 20%. All right, so I'm going to share with you why I do it and some of the realities, when you're looking at gold, right? Some hard truths, right? Some things that I don't even know how to elaborate because it's just, this is what it is, lor. Gold is like that, right? So, I had some fun recording next week's episode, and I'm sure you're going to learn some interesting things, about gold, and realize that, there are different investment strategies because Buffett doesn't really buy gold. Okay, next week we'll talk about it, right? A lot of people are raving, Buffett buys gold, but nope, 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 it's a bit different. And Dalio believes in like gold, and the whole like asset allocation strategy. Different people have different strategies. There's no one way to do it. So next week we're going to talk about gold realities. I hope to give you more insights. And meanwhile, take care. See ya.